Hello, everybody. It's Rick. It is March the 5th in the year of 2018. My email is rick, R-I-C-K, 0327 at me.com. If you're interested in reaching out to me to make a gift, to receive my paperwork, I receive my gifts by Western Union. Okay, that's the way I'm doing it these days. Um, Trust me, you have nothing to fear when you send me money. Okay, I'm a man of my word. Okay, I get a lot of people who are like suspicious, and while they're suspicious, they're insulting me. You know, okay, I'm gonna decide to trust you. Like, buddy, you're really not in a position, you know, to not trust me, really. I mean, I got a video channel with over 6,000 people. All you have to do is read the comments section. All right, I get a lot of compliments. I have very low dislikes. All right, the dislikes come from trolls and people whom I put on the list. Okay. Um, Lately, I've been putting people on the list who refuse to follow instructions. I mean, some people can just you know ruin their chances of getting the paperwork just by not following instructions. I mean, this Western Union thing could be a nightmare sometimes. I mean, all I ask for is just to please show me a copy of the receipt. Okay? I've been scammed by people, all right? I'm not, I would say 95% of the people that I deal with are good people, all right? But there's always going to be that 5% who are scam artists, who probably never supported their child and they got grabbed. All right, I got one guy who, keeps changing his name and I keep catching him. So uh, all I ask for is to show me a copy of the receipt. And people just want to, oh, I sent it, like just all these things. One guy had a cut. I told one guy, I don't want your money. What I did was, you know what I did? I gave the guy the paperwork for free. I just didn't want to deal with him because once I take your money, I got to deal with you. Okay? I'm not one of these guys. I'll take your money and then I won't answer your emails. I actually answer your emails. So because I've been down this road before, it's like, all right, so now if I take this guy's money and he was sending me all these emails, just like, oh my God, this is gonna and he would I'm like, dude, please show me the MTCN number. And he's like, I sent it to you. And I'm looking at it, he never sent it to me. And I'm just like, forget about it. When you finally figure, I said to myself, when this guy finally figures this out, I'm gonna have to deal with this guy and I don't want to be bothered. So I gave him the paperwork for free. Now listen, this is not gonna don't use this as an extent that you're gonna get free paperwork by annoying me. All right, that's not a plan. This guy, his intent was not to annoy me, but he was very good at it. Anyway, that's what I've been dealing with. I've turned down some money from people because they just will not follow instructions. And let me explain something to you guys. If you cannot follow easy instructions as just take a picture of the receipt and let me see it. You can block your address. Trust me, I don't need your address. I don't want your address. I don't know where you live. I just need to know the state you're in. Okay? Just and they don't want to follow instructions, so you can't use my paperwork. Anyway, after that nonsense for 4 minutes, all right, we had a success story today. All right, those of you that zoned me out, maybe you read this already. Good morning, Rick. I just wanted you to know the paperwork we sent in last month. The case was dismissed today. Thank you for all your help. The lawyer did not know what to say or how to respond. I told the judge I would be representing myself, and I handed some other affidavits to file, along with the ones that he filed. She said it won't be necessary. I'm dismissing the case. You will receive the notice in the mail. I then asked if the plaintiff could revisit. She said it'd be dismissed. All right. This is what he filed. Notice to the court. All right, I know it says Stacy, but that's his first name. It's a male. Okay. Notice to the court. Nature and cause of proceedings. And notice to the court. Non-assumpsit claim by respondent. And it resulted in a dismissal. Okay. All right, so there we go. We have a success story, and this is in New York, by the way. Okay, the corruption courts. Why? I mean, that's my opinion anyway. I mean, unbelievable, the corruption in the courts in New York. All right, so we have a success. All right, now we're going to move on to another subject, and this is where we're going to be going because there's only so far we can go by filing papers and them being dismissed. Okay, so one of the next things we're going to do is we're going to be threatening judges, and I believe that this worked for me because I filed a lawsuit in federal court in July of 2015. I've said it, in my videos before, but I was stonewalled, but only because I allowed myself to be stonewalled at the end. You know, I didn't have the money to keep fighting these people at that time. Okay, that's what and they know that too, by the way. They know they can outlast you financially because most of us are poor. Okay, that's another tactic by these pieces of shit in the child support uh, arena. They know that they can outlast us with money. And also, we have these sociopaths working in the court system. Let me see something here. The window. Let's look up the definition of a sociopath, okay, while we're on here. All right. I don't know how to get rid of this. How the fuck I did this? Is that how I do it? Nope. That's not it. God almighty. All right. All right. Sociopath. A person with a personality disorder manifesting itself in extreme antisocial attitudes. What else can we look? What is a sociopath? Sorry, this is taking a while because I'm using my VPN right now. VPN is a virtual private network, and Google doesn't like that. Google is keeps you in a cage. A person who has antisocial personality doesn't care about what is right and what is wrong. Oh, this is also true. They do not have regard for other people's feelings. Okay, is that not what these people in the courts are? That is textbook definition of who we're dealing with. Sociopaths. They must give these people a personality test before they get on the job, and they hire them. If you got an inferiority complex, look at this. Let me see. Someone with this was highly skilled at manipulation in order to get what they want. They antagonize others and can be cold and calculating in order to achieve what they want. Okay? There is an element of narcissism in this or whatever. I prove my point. All right. So, um, so what we're dealing with in the courts are these people with antisocial behavior, and judges are up there, and there's only so far we can go by filing paperwork. At some point, we're going to have to call their bluff, okay? And the reason I went that direction because I filed a lawsuit, and it was very well written, and I was stonewalled with the bullshit of judicial immunity, okay? And that's why we're going to talk about it. Judicial immunity is a presumption, and they think it's a law, and it's not. It's a presumption, okay? And let's move on. So the reason why I'm saying this is that you could file if you got a case going on. In my paperwork, I have paperwork for trespass on rights. All right, let me see. And you can file it while your case is going on. It's a good way of threatening these people. And if it's worded the right way, you can send a nice message. And because of my lawsuit in federal court, I believe that's what led to my getting my case vacated, because the judge let me speak and I boxed him in the case. All right, let me see here. Come on, let's go. Objection, trespass upon rights. Okay. Notice to the court, objection by respondent against a non-judicial court adjudicator did trespass upon rights. All right. You could send this in. All right. And what you're doing is you're getting it on the record that you filed an objection and you gave them a warning that they're trespassing upon your rights. Okay. That it sends a message, and if they continue to do it, that means they're doing it with intent. Okay, they cannot claim that they did not know, even though they're lawyers and they're supposed to know the law. Okay, judicial immunity is not a law; it is a presumption and can be defeated by evidence for rebuttal. Okay. It's a judge's complete protection from personal liability. Judicial immunity protects judges from liability for monetary damages for acts they perform pursuant judicial function. A judge generally has immunity from if he or she had, this is the key phrase, had jurisdiction over the subject. All right. Now, I'm gonna let you guys on a little secret. Everybody has judicial immunity. Okay. It's called presumption of innocence. It's a fancy way of saying when they had jurisdiction. Now, judges are also protected if they have jurisdiction and they exceed it. They've been, because they're not technically depriving you of your rights. They're just acting like assholes. Okay, so just because somebody acts like an asshole doesn't mean they could be, held guilty of, for civil damages, for monetary damages. Okay. There's a lot of assholes out there. But when a judge is acting in clear absence of jurisdiction, they could be sued. Now, who do we know that does that? Our friendly neighborhood fake judge. Okay? Our friendly neighborhood make-believe fake judge. Okay? So, coram non judice. And they could be, they're guilty. And we use as evidence their order. Okay. All right. Judicial immunity. Okay. All right. This is a famous case. Now, listen, I'm not going to go through all of this. You guys can freeze this and read it yourself. Okay. Because we'll be here all day. Okay. Bradley versus Fisher is an 1871 case. It clarified judicial immunity. Okay. Okay. So this is a key one right here for us. Stump versus Sparkman is a very important Supreme Court decision to use against judges and fake judges. Excuse me. All right. So Stump versus Sparkman referenced Bradley. That's the one we were just looking at. All right. All right. Judges also. What is it? Judges do not receive immunity for their administrative decisions. Okay. For example, assume a judge requires posting a bill. If a person is subjected to this any unconstitutional practices by a judge, the judge will lose judicial immunity. So, okay, we've already spoken that orders without by a judge or not by a trial. Excuse me, stupid me. A judgment not by peers is an unconstitutional act. Okay, so the thing is, we got to point out that that's the reason why my paperwork. I tell you guys in the paperwork, filed before going to court, one of the things I have you guys file is a demand for trial by jury. Okay, that way it's on record that we're demanding a constitutional right. Okay, there are no laws out there that states you cannot have a trial by jury. There are these child support laws and stuff, or courts that do not hold trial by jury, but it doesn't mean that it's legal. Okay, that means it's up to us to object. Okay, a law is only legal if we allow it to be. I'm talking about a law that's obviously depriving us of a right. Okay, the Sixth and Seventh Amendment, the rights to trial by juries, have not been suspended. Okay, so it's up to us to object. Okay, Black's Law Dictionary defines presumption as follows: presumption, an inference in favor of a particular fact. A presumption is a rule of law, statutory or judicial, by which finding a basic fact gives rise to existence of a presumed fact until presumption is rebutted. Okay, until we object and present evidence. Now, a judicial immunity, they're going to claim that the judge is immune. But when we present evidence of the actual order and state that, especially with these fake judges, say, listen, there's no signature by a judge, there's no there's no judgment by peers, and then you throw in the Supreme Court, which is a court of final authority, or a court of final resort. That means that you cannot go anywhere after the Supreme Court. There's nowhere else to go. So that means that an order, a prescription by a Supreme Court is law. Okay, under common law is really if there's an issuance of a judgment by a court of precedent, it's called a doctrine of precedent. That means that that's the law. It's already been decided. So if we have a Supreme Court case like Burnham versus Superior Court that says an order by a non-judicial person or a person not a judge is void for lack of jurisdiction, that's it. The court has to accept this ruling and must dismiss the order. It's really that simple. And now, if the judge or fake judge dismisses that dismissal is evidence that they're acting without jurisdiction. Okay, so if an order was issued by a fake judge, coram non judice, how the hell is a judge going to have jurisdiction to say it's a valid judgment when it was never valid? You can't make an invalid order valid. Once it's invalid, it's invalid. You understand? So if you have a judgment not by peers, the only way to make it valid is to have brand new proceedings in front of a jury. You understand? So, it really is that simple. And if you word things the right way, and again, I'm going to talk about myself, but when I went into that hearing in front of that judge in that video that's posted on my channel, the writ of quo warranto, when I'm before that judge, I'm telling you, he's treating me respectful because of the federal lawsuit. Okay, because they know I was told by one of the court officers that I'm very close. So I didn't get everything I wanted that day, but he did issue a stay, and that was August 22nd, and they claimed that I owed $43,000. Okay, and then he vacated that order of the $40,000. Okay, because he knew that he had no jurisdiction. So what I'm trying to say is that just by putting things on paper could be a threat to these people. Okay. All right. So all presumptions that prejudice or injure rights are a violation of due process of law that result in a void judgment. Oh, there we go, void judgment, right? All right, this is an important thing here. The power to create presumptions is not a means of escape from from constitutional restrictions. That means that this presumption of judicial immunity, what they'll do is, and how many of you guys have filed? I know a few people that subscribe to my channel that filed a lawsuit against the judge, and it comes back from the federal court saying they're judicially immune. That is bullshit, and that federal judge can be sued because that federal judge is acting without jurisdiction. Okay, the stuff that's going on right now in the news with the Trump administration, I made a video last year about it, and it is happening. There's a lot of news. This guy Tucker Carlson did a thing last week about these judges being out of control. Okay, these judges are and because they're out of control, it's, people's eyes are being opened in the media, and that's good for us because they are out of effing control. Okay, they're arrogant, they're sociopaths. Okay, and this is what we need. We need this to happen. Okay, it's going to happen sooner or later. Okay, but like this FISA court thing, it was they used a court against Donald Trump. Now, I don't know what your political leanings are, people, but what they did to him was wrong. It was criminal. Okay, and they got caught. All right, so anyway, a presumption must be rebutted. I'm just going to move down here. How to rebut a presumption of judicial immunity? You tell the judge. Okay, you tell the judge at the proceeding that they are not judicially immune when they violate your rights. Not decured, secured. Look at Rick here with this misspelled. Secured by the Constitution. Any judge who does not comply with his oath to the Constitution of the United States wars against the Constitution and engages in acts in violation of the supreme law of the land. The judge is engaged in acts of treason. They all are when what they're doing to us. All right, this is a Supreme Court case from 1958. Number two, a judge and fake judge has judicial immunity when they act with jurisdiction. But we know they're not. I'm just giving you an example when they are. But they don't. But where do they get jurisdiction from? What I always tell you guys, from evidence. So in order for a judge to have evidence in any court proceeding, there has to be some evidence, a clear and convincing evidence introduced by the petitioner showing an injury in fact. All right, that's Lujan. It's really that simple. Okay? You introduce the evidence from the judge or fake judge's order with their name on it. That's the clear. You cannot get any better evidence of their name on their fake order. And then when you word that, by the way, this has no jurisdiction, and without jurisdiction, you no longer have, you'll say, well, I'm introducing this order to rebut your judicial immunity, which is a presumption. It's not a law. They act like it's a law, but it's not. In that piece on Tucker Carlson on Fox, they were talking about judges writing the law from the bench. See, judges are supposed to enforce the law. They're not supposed to interpret the law. That's the Supreme Court's job. But these judges have been getting away with it for so long now. Okay, so what they're doing is they're writing laws from the bench. That's what is supposed to be done by Congress, the legislature. Okay, and they're violating the separations of powers. Okay, so, all right, so I'm going to leave this here. I'm going to move on here. And again, the sole purpose of doing this, you guys can copy this stuff down. All right, these are the case laws. You while you're in there, you can let them know if you cite, or you can let them know that you're violating my rights, and you don't have jurisdiction. You're not judicially immune because you're performing unconstitutional acts. Okay. And we got to give it a shot. You got to let these people know information is important. So by letting them know that you're aware that they're not judicially immune and you could cite the right cases, you could send a message. Hey, we just had a case that started off this video where, the case was dismissed. You think the judge didn't read that paperwork? That was the non-assumpsit paperwork and the special appearance paperwork. Okay? So, case dismissed. You know what happened? They probably showed up to court and brought nothing. And maybe we got lucky and it was actually a judge acting like a judge, or a fake judge acting like a fake judge. Okay? All right, so I'm going to finish this video. All right, it's just a video giving you information. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I always do. You guys can freeze and read this. All right, we got slide number 1, slide number 2, slide number 3, number 4, number 5. I'm sorry the words are small. I'm trying to fit as much information as I can into a slide. Okay, number 6. And listen, do your own research. Let me finish this real fast. 7. And that's it. Okay, so real fast, this is a great website right here. Right? I'll put it in the description. sedm.org. This is great right here. Presumptions is the chief weapon for unlawfully enlarging federal jurisdiction. Now, if you were to sue a judge in federal court, or a fake judge, armed with this information, you're gonna make it very difficult for the federal judge to dismiss the case. How is the federal judge going to dismiss a case for judicial immunity when you're giving them clear and convincing evidence that the judge never possessed jurisdiction? And then you can threaten that judge as well. Okay, by arming ourselves with information, we're going to make it harder for them to continually, trespass upon us with with their their sociopath. What is it? Sociopathic behavior. All right, I've had enough. 25 minutes. Plus, I've been putting this together since this morning to give you guys the right laws and stuff. All right, so all right, this is the. Of course, it's going to take a little minute, take a couple of seconds here. I'm going to show you. All right, this is the paperwork that was introduced by Stacy. Okay. Notice to the court, non-assumption claim by respondent. Right. Notice to the court, nature and cause for the proceedings. All right. And remember, if there's no evidence, there's no jurisdiction. Case was dismissed. Okay. All right, people. Till next time.